Things are getting real in Cincinnati. Trade talks around Trey Hendrickson are heating up, and the latest report? It's pointing to a completely unexpected destination that could shake the Bengals' defense to its core. Forget the rumors. This one's got weight. We're just days away from training camp, and the Bengals' front office is deep in a standoff with one of their top defensive stars. Contract negotiations with Trey Hendrickson have hit a wall, and now a potential trade is back on the table. And here's the twist. It's not the Lions. It's not the 49ers. The newest name in the mix? The Green Bay Packers. Before we dive into what this means for Cincinnati's pass rush and locker room chemistry, before we break down this major update, do one quick thing. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and hit that bell icon so you never miss Bengals news the second it breaks. All right, let's get into it. So, what's really going on here? Green Bay has the cap flexibility. They've got the defensive gap Hendrickson could fill. And now insiders are saying the Packers are pushing harder than anyone else to land the Bengals' 2024 sack leader. If this deal goes through, it won't just reshape Cincinnati's defense. It could impact their entire 2025 campaign. Let's get into the heart of this story. According to Bleacher Report's Matt Holder, the Hendrickson contract standoff is far from over, and the Bengals seem no closer to offering what their 2024 sack leader wants. Here's where it gets complicated. The Bengals just spent a first-round pick on Shamar Stewart, who's also now locked in a contract dispute. Add in Joseph Osai and Miles Murphy, and suddenly, Cincinnati's defensive end room feels crowded, but uncertain. Holder says it straight. If the Bengals aren't going to pay Hendrickson, they need to trade him before his value drops. And that's where Green Bay comes back into focus. The Packers are contenders. They need edge pressure, and Hendrickson fits that need perfectly. But what could the Bengals get in return? That's the real question. Earlier this year, Cincinnati gave Hendrickson permission to seek a trade, and he had suitors. But the Bengals held the line, reportedly demanding a first-round pick. No team bid. Talks cooled, and Hendrickson stayed. But now, with training camp just a week away, the chatter is growing louder again. And this time, the urgency feels different. If Green Bay or another team gets desperate, say, an injury in camp or preseason, that offer the Bengals were waiting for might finally hit the table. It's a high-stakes game, and Cincinnati's front office has to decide. Do they ride it out with Hendrickson, or move him before his value slips? Trey Hendrickson has made one thing clear. He's not bluffing. Just like Carson Palmer once did, he's ready to stand firm if the Bengals don't meet his value. And here's where it gets interesting. Again, if history repeats itself, a team like the Raiders, who once gave up a first-rounder for Palmer due to desperation, could be in the exact same position now. But this time, it's about a pass rusher, not a quarterback. Now let's talk money, because that's the heart of the standoff. Bleacher Report's latest update breaks it down. The Packers are sitting on $35.5 million in cap space for 2025. That's enough to absorb Hendrickson's contract if both sides get creative. Yes, their 2026 situation looks tighter, only $17.1 million. But if Green Bay believes Hendrickson is the missing piece, they might push all in for 2025. That raises the question. Could a deal be structured to front-load Hendrickson's money, giving him the security he wants now while allowing the Packers to figure out the future later? It all hinges on one thing. Can Duke Tobin, the Bengals front office, and the Packers find common ground? But here's the real turning point. Just as trade talks begin to simmer again, NFL news breaks that could change everything. TJ, what has just been signed, and not just signed, but now officially becomes the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. That news sends shockwaves through the entire league, and it sends Hendrickson's price tag even higher. Because now, he has the leverage. He's watching the market rise, while still waiting for Cincinnati to step up. And with training camp days away, the Bengals now face a decision with major consequences. Do they meet Hendrickson's demands, or let another team capitalize? This is officially bad news for the Bengals. For weeks, the front office was watching closely. Would Trey Hendrickson sign first? Or would TJ? What reset the edge rusher market? Now we have the answer, and it's a big one. TJ Watt just inked a 3-year, $123 million extension with a staggering $108 million guaranteed. That puts his annual average at $41 million, the highest for any non-quarterback in NFL history. And that changes everything, because now Hendrickson has leverage. He's looking at that contract and thinking, why not me? Same production tier, similar age, proven consistency, and suddenly, the Bengals are in a corner. Cincinnati was already reluctant to go long-term with Hendrickson due to age and cap strategy. But now, matching Watt's numbers, or even coming close, feels impossible. Let's be real. There's no way the Bengals pay Trey Hendrickson $40 plus million a year. And that's why a trade, once unlikely, is now very much back on the table. Remember, Hendrickson already had trade offers earlier this year, but none of them reached the Bengals' asking price of a first-round pick. Those talks died down. But with Watt's new deal shaking up the edge rusher market, those offers could start rolling back in. And this time, Cincinnati might be more willing to listen. It's no longer just about losing a star pass rusher. It's about whether keeping him makes any financial sense at all. TJ Watt just landed a monster deal, despite the injuries, despite still being under contract. And you can bet Trey Hendrickson is watching closely, thinking, why not me? After all, Hendrickson's been reliable, productive, a leader. And like Watt, he's still under contract, but pushing for a raise or a way out. Here's where things get messy for the Bengals. They're not likely to hand him $40 million per year. That's just not how they operate. But they might explore a short extension with heavy guarantees up front. A financial compromise, maybe. Still, the Watt deal puts enormous pressure on Cincinnati's front office. And for the first time, a Hendrickson trade feels more likely than not. Earlier in the year, the Bengals stood firm. No trade unless a first-round pick was offered. But now, with Watt resetting the market and Hendrickson's value rising, Cincinnati might be forced to reevaluate. And if Green Bay's truly serious, don't be surprised if you see Hendrickson wearing green and gold instead of stripes in 2025, or even sooner. With training camp days away, this saga is heating up fast. The Bengals are running out of time and options, and if they don't act soon, they might lose leverage altogether.